What's going on, you guys? It's Rahul here, back again with another video, and we are back here with our Who Wins Blank Division series, and this time we are going to be discussing the NFC South. So before we get started, make sure you get to hit that like button if you enjoyed it, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here so you do not miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I will finally do a face reveal. But with that being said, let's just get this video started. And the first team we got is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what can I say about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They got a super talented roster and have basically no weaknesses. They are coming off the Super Bowl win, and all Tampa Bay had to do is just bring back key free agents, which they were able to do. And going over the roster quickly, Tom Brady, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't have to say much for Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady, and he is assisted in the backfield by Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, who compose a pretty solid ground game. And the receiving core is absolutely stellar, with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski at tight end, Antonio Brown, who, yeah, he's not the same Pittsburgh Steelers Antonio Brown, but he's still a pretty solid player. And along with that, they got one of the best offensive lines in the league, and that's not even considering their defense, which is also pretty good. It includes the likes of Shaq Barrett, Devin White, Levante David, Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield Jr., plus a host of other valuable contributors on the team. And they got everything you want out of a championship caliber team. They got, Tampa Bay, barring any injuries, they should be one of the best in the league next year, and to me, they are the clear favorites to win the division. I mean, like them or hate them, there's no denying the Buccaneers got a very strong case to win the NFC South. But going on to our next team, it is the New Orleans Saints. And as we know, Drew Brees recently retired, and the Saints, it's safe to say, they are a pretty uncertain team. However, despite their uncertainty, they still have all the pieces to win a championship. Their offense is extremely good with Michael Thomas, who's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, especially when healthy. Alvin Kamara is coming off one of his best seasons yet, and is one of the best running backs in the league in both the pass and run game. And their defense has a lot of great playmakers in Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus Williams, and Demario Davis, and they have all the pieces to win a championship. They really do. But it all really just comes down to one thing, and that one thing is the quarterback play. So of course, with the retirement of Drew Brees, as I said before, the Saints are very uncertain because we don't know how good the quarterback play is going to be. They're gonna have to likely turn to the likes of Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, or Ian Book, who they selected, I believe, in the 4th round of this past year's draft. Taysom Hill is primarily used as a gadget in their offense, but this past season, he actually had to start some games at quarterback while Drew Brees was injured. In those 4 games, he passed for 834 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions on a 72% completion percentage. And he also contributed to the ground game, going for 209 yards and 4 touchdowns. And those stats do look pretty promising. However, we also should take into account that he did cough the ball up 6 times, and he did show a lot of moments in the passing game where he was lacking. And long term, I have to say, I really hate to say this, but I don't think Taysom Hill solves any of the problems other than the fact that he's very versatile and is a very good backup. Jameis Winston, on the other hand, hardly played in 2020, but he did sit behind Drew Brees, who is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and he learned the playbook, and in my opinion, he is the better quarterback. And Jameis Winston, to me, he probably can't be the player we once thought he would be coming out of Florida State, but he's still a very, very solid quarterback. He's proved he's definitely a decent player, and he really just needs to cut down on his turnovers. That's all. Ian Book, speaking on him briefly, I'm going to say this. I think Ian Book, I'm not totally sure how good he's going to be in the NFL. I mean, he is still a rookie, but I doubt he does start in 2021. Is it possible? Yes, it is, but I'm just not sure if he will start, but he definitely could be an option. However, going back to Jameis Winston, I do think he will be able to cut down on his turnovers, as he will be learning from one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time in Drew Brees. Plus, he is going to be assisted by a lot of great playmakers, as I said before, like Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. Plus, he has one of the best coaches in the league in Sean Payton, and a defense that is only going to do him favors, and he is in a really good spot to succeed. And if the quarterback play for New Orleans is decent, they have an extremely good roster and could easily win the division. And should the Buccaneers face any hiccups, maybe the Saints do end up repeating as NFC South champions. All we'll have to do is just wait and see how good the quarterback play is for the Saints. But anyways, now we got our final team, and that is the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are a young team on the rise, and all I can say is that the future is very bright for them. But going on to their case to win this year, I want to start out by briefly going over the roster. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, they form a fantastic wide receiver duo. Plus, they got Christian McCaffrey as acting as an elite receiving option, and is also one of the best runners in the league, and is one of the best running backs in the NFL, and maybe even the best. And the defense, it is young, but they still have a lot of good pieces on that side of the ball in Brian Burns, Derek Brown, and Jeremy Chin, and Dante Jackson. Plus, they actually made some very nice additions in free agency, like Denzel Perryman and Hassan Reddick, and they will go a long way to help improve this defense. And going over the draft too, they selected J.C. Horn and Davion Nixon in the 2021 NFL draft, and they should also be able to improve the defense with those aforementioned offseason pickups. And it should get even better as they do, get older and become more experienced, and it could be a very solid unit in a few years. But the offense, going offensively, in the draft, they added Terrace Marshall Jr., Tommy Tremble, Brady Christensen, and Chuba Hubbard to make the offense even better. And Matt Rule, he is also a great coach and is a great leader and is really just building something very special in Carolina. And the next step for Carolina is to find their franchise quarterback. And that actually could be Sam Darnold, who they traded for with the New York Jets. Now, there is no sugarcoating it. Darnold was just not good on the New York Jets. However, we do need to keep in mind that he did have a supporting cast, and he had Adam Gase as his coach. So that was a recipe for him to fail. However, he did show flashes of brilliance in New York, and he is going to be inheriting a dream scenario in Carolina. As I did, he has very good weapons. He has an offensive line it's all right. He has a great coach and a defense that it's not a fantastic defense at all, but it definitely is, it definitely should get better as time goes on, and there's no denying that Carolina is a much better situation than New York was when he was on the Jets. And if he does work out, he's still a very young quarterback and could be the great quarterback we once thought he could be coming out of USC. And Carolina's team, it is young and on the rise, and they could easily be contenders in the next few years. The NFC South, though, it is still a fairly tough division, and they are still underdogs, but if a few stars do end up aligning, don't be surprised if they do come out on top. It really just depends on one thing, and that is Sam Darnold. This year is going to be a make or break year for him, and if Sam Darnold does end up panning out, then maybe the Carolina Panthers do end up, making a run at the division, and who knows, maybe they even end up winning it. But anyways, now we do need to decide the winner. But real quick, before we do get to the verdict, I do want to say something. You guys have probably noticed that I don't talk about all the teams in some of my videos when it comes to deciding who wins each division. But that is because, frankly, some of those teams just have like zero chance of winning in my eyes. The Falcons, they are the case of that. So I do want to go over them briefly. They actually do have a really talented roster offensively, as Matt Ryan is still very good, and Julio Jones, there's a good chance that he is traded, but he's still on the team for now, and he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Calvin Ridley is also shaping out to be a really good piece, plus Hayden Hurst did pretty well. They selected Kyle Pitts with the fourth overall pick in this year's draft, and the only hole, offensively is the run game. However, the defense, it is atrocious, and the loss of a few playmakers they had in free agency, it just makes the defense even worse. So no matter what the Falcons, do this year, their defense, it just has a lot of work to do. It needs a lot of work, and to be honest, I just can't see Atlanta, winning the division this year, and I don't expect them to contend for the next few years. But yeah, with that being said, let's just now get to the final verdict. and ultimately I had to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As while the other teams I talked about still do have compelling cases, the Buccaneers are off the heels of a Super Bowl win, and directly comparing to them to any team makes it extremely hard to go any other route. The only team I'd actually put money on winning the division with confidence is the Saints, but then again, that all depends on the quarterback play, so they are a very big wild card. And that the same goes with Carolina, as their quarterback play, it is again a wild card, and the defense is still young, and they're still trying to get experience, so the defense is going to be worse than the Saints. And the Carolina Panthers, they are a big wild card too when it comes to winning the division, and at the end of the day, Tampa Bay is simply too good and way more certain than the Saints and the Panthers. But hey, this division will be pretty exciting to watch, and you never know what happens, and we'll just have to wait and see how 2021 pans out. But yeah, with that being said, that'll wrap up today's video. Thank you guys for watching as always. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on there, so you do not miss out on any new videos. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I will finally do a face reveal. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.